I destroyed an innocent man. And that single moment changed my life forever, because the proof I held was undeniable. My anger didn't feel like anger. It felt like justice. But what if the story you're most certain of is the biggest lie your own mind ever told you? In a single moment of rage, I publicly ruined his life. But hours later, I discovered a truth that didn't just shatter my reality, it gave me a superpower. The ability to see not what people say, but what they truly mean. Today, I'm sharing a powerful and life-changing story in English. It's more than just a narrative. It's an experience designed to be powerful English listening practice. So listen closely. We are about to follow a young man who lived this exact nightmare. In a quiet village lived a young man named Rohan. He was known for his hard work, but also for an explosive temper. In his mind, the world was always wrong, and he was just reacting to it. One week, Rohan was especially on edge. He was waiting for a very important letter. It was a job offer from the city, a chance to build a better life. Every day, he would wait for the village postman, Mr. Anand, a kind, elderly man who had been delivering mail for over 40 years. Days passed. The letter didn't arrive. Each sunrise brought a fresh wave of hope, and each sunset left a bitter taste of disappointment. He found it hard to focus on his work in the fields. His mind was already in the city, imagining a life that felt just out of reach. This letter wasn't just paper. It was his entire future. Rohan's impatience sharpened into frustration, and that frustration began to curdle into a dark suspicion. He started seeing shadows where there were none, convincing himself that something or someone was actively working against him. Then, one afternoon, Rohan saw something that made his blood boil. He saw Mr. Anand, the postman, walking towards the house of his rival neighbor, Samir. There was a long-standing family dispute over a piece of land between them, and Rohan viewed every action of Samir's with distrust. He watched from a distance as Mr. Anand handed Samir a crisp, official-looking envelope. He saw Samir's face break into a wide grin, and then he saw him pat Mr. Anand on the back in a gesture that, to Rohan's enraged mind, looked like a secret deal being sealed. A single image, a single thought. That was all it took. In that instant, Rohan's mind created a story. A dark, twisted story, complete with a villain and a victim. He was convinced Samir had bribed Mr. Anand to steal his job letter, to sabotage his one chance at escaping the life he so desperately wanted to change. Blinded by this self-made certainty, he stormed over, his feet pounding against the dusty path. His voice, raw with fury, echoed across the quiet square. "How could you do this?" he shouted at Mr. Anand, pointing a trembling finger. "You sold my future for a small bribe. You're a thief." The whole village stopped. The usual afternoon chatter died down, replaced by a stunned silence. Mr. Anand's smile faded, the color draining from his face. He looked at Rohan, not with anger, but with a deep, confused hurt that Rohan was too enraged to notice. Heartbroken and publicly shamed, the old man simply turned and walked away without a word. In that moment, Rohan felt a twisted flash of victory, believing he had bravely exposed a great injustice. He walked home, his heart still pounding with righteous anger. When he entered, his mother met him with a gentle smile, unaware of the storm that had just occurred. "Look what came for you this morning," she said, her voice calm and happy. She held up a crisp, official-looking envelope. It was on the table. Rohan froze. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. His hands trembled as he took the letter from her. It was the job offer. He had been accepted. The reality of what he had just done crashed down on him, not like a wave, but like a building collapsing on itself. The letter in his hand felt like a block of ice. The cheers of his own anger in the village square were replaced by a deafening, horrifying silence in his mind. The victory he felt turned into a deep, gut-wrenching shame that burned hotter than any anger he had ever known. He understood that to avoid this ever happening again, he had to fundamentally change not just his actions, but the very way his mind worked. That night, he couldn't sleep. The image of Mr. Anand's wounded face haunted him. Searching for answers, he finally realized the problem wasn't the world. It was his uncontrollable urge to believe the first story his anger told him. The next morning, with a heavy heart, Rohan walked to Mr. Anand's house. He fell to his knees on the porch and apologized, tears of genuine remorse streaming down his face. Mr. Anand looked at him, and after a long, heavy silence, he spoke. "Rohan," he said, his voice gentle but tired, "your mind is a pond of clear water. When you get angry, it's like throwing a large stone into it. The water becomes muddy, and you can no longer see the truth at the bottom. You didn't see the truth of the situation because your reaction had already made the water too dirty to see through." He continued, "The letter I gave Samir was from his son, who is serving in the army. He hadn't heard from him in months. Those were tears of joy, not conspiracy. You must learn to let the mud settle. The pause, that quiet moment before you react. That is where you will find the power of a quiet mind." That day, Rohan learned a lesson no school could ever teach. Between an event and our reaction to it, there is a space, a sacred pause. And in that space lies our freedom, our growth, and our peace. True strength isn't about how loudly you can react, but how calmly and wisely you can choose to respond. If this inspirational story in English resonated with you, and you're on a journey to develop a more positive mindset, then you are in the perfect place. By subscribing to Meta Bloom Stories, you are investing in your own peace and wisdom. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you found value today, a simple like on this video helps us reach others who might need to hear this powerful message. Thank you for being here.